The distress beacon pulsed through the void, a desperate cry from the colony on Kepler 44 to B. Sophia stood on the bridge of the Valiant, her knuckles white against the railing as she watched the holographic display flicker with incoming data. 300 civilian vessels, trapped by a Krell blockade. The insectoid raiders had surrounded the mining colony like vultures, their bioships pulsing with bioluminescent threat displays. "How long until the fleet arrives?" she asked, her voice steady despite the knot in her stomach. Hunter checked his tactical console, his scarred hands moving across the haptic interface with practiced efficiency. 18 minutes, Admiral Chen is bringing the Third Fleet, all of it. Sophia's breath caught. All of it. For a rescue operation, you know how humans are, Hunter said, a grim smile playing at his lips. Someone calls for help. We don't send a scout ship and hope for the best. On the view screen, the Krell commander's chittering voice crackled through the translator. Human vessel, withdraw. This colony has been claimed by the swarm. Your presence is unnecessary. Sophia straightened, her dark eyes blazing. Unnecessary. Those are our people down there. The alien's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. 3 ships against 40. Your mathematics are poor, human. 3 ships. Sophia repeated slowly. For now, the Krell commander's confusion was palpable, his silence stretching across the comm channel. Hunter's console began screaming with new contacts. One by one, human vessels materialized from FTL-0 in neat formations, but in aggressive combat spreads that spoke of predators moving to kill, destroyers, cruisers, carriers, disgorging fighter wings like angry hornets. The massive dreadnought Indomitable emerged last, its railgun batteries already charging with enough energy to crack a moon. By the Hive Mother... The Krell commander whispered, his translator struggling with the sudden fear in his voice. Hunter pulled up the fleet roster, and even he felt a surge of pride. The Third Fleet, the Seventh Fleet, independent mercenary companies that had answered the call, mining haulers that had retrofitted weapons to their hulls. Even the pleasure yacht Cassiopeia's Dream had shown up, its owner manning what appeared to be a hastily mounted missile pod. You called for help. Sophia transmitted to the colony below. Humanity heard you. The Krell tried to retreat, but human doctrine didn't believe in letting aggressors escape to threaten others. Fighter craft screamed through the void, their human pilots pulling maneuvers that would have liquefied most species. Sophia watched as a squadron led by Commander Torres executed a dive that registered 9 Gs on the Sansuza maneuver that existed purely because humans had decided physics was more of a suggestion than a rule. They're insane, the Krell tactical officer transmitted, his voice breaking through the encryption. Disable your weapons. We surrender. But the human ships didn't slow. They didn't stop. They formed a wall between the colony and the Krell fleet, and that wall bristled with enough firepower to sterilize a continent. Admiral Chen's weathered face appeared on the main screen. Krell swarm vessels. You have 60 seconds to begin retreat procedures. After that, we will consider your presence an act of war. You already have our surrender. The Krell commander shrieked. 60 seconds. Chen repeated, his voice flat and cold as deep space. The Krell ships fled, their biodrives screaming as they pushed beyond safe operational parameters. Sophia knew that across a dozen star systems, other Krell commanders were receiving the combat telemetry, watching in horror as humanity demonstrated what happened when you threatened their civilians. Hunter brought up the colony feeds. Families emerged from shelters, children pointing at the sky where human ships now filled the darkness like protective stars. An elderly man wept openly, holding a photo of his son who had died on New Cambra when the Krell had attacked there before anyone could respond. Why do they do this? A young Zentari observer transmitted from her science vessel at the system's edge. Her species had watched from a safe distance, curious about humanity's response. Why send so many? It is... inefficient. Sophia turned to the sensor suite, locking eyes with the alien through the quantum link. Because we're from Earth, she said simply. A world that tried to kill us every single day, where storms could level cities, where microscopic organisms waged war in our blood, where megafauna hunted us when we had nothing but rocks and sharp sticks. She gestured at the fleet surrounding them, hundreds of ships that had dropped everything to answer a distress call. We learned something on that death. When your tribe is threatened, you don't send help, you send everything. You send overwhelming force. You send a message that says, never again. Hunter nodded, pulling up casualty reports. 0 human losses. 3 Krell ships destroyed because they'd been too slow to flee. Every species in the galaxy fights for territory, for resources, for dominance, he said. Humans fight for each other. The Zentari observer was quiet for a long moment. We thought the Krell were fearsome. We see now, we were wrong about who to fear. You shouldn't fear us, Sophia said, watching as transport ships began ferrying supplies to the colony below. Medical teams, engineers, counselors to help with the trauma. You should fear what happens if you make us afraid for our people. Admiral Chen's voice crackled over the fleet-wide channel. All ships establish defensive perimeter. We hold this system until the colony is reinforced and the Krell learn to read a star map. If they're here, they're everywhere they shouldn't be. Time to remind them why humans own the space, we claim. The fleet responded with a chorus of acknowledgements. Ships that should have been enemies, corporate rivals, political opponents, even a few vessels from colonies that were in bitter legal disputes or working in perfect harmony because someone had called for help, because humans didn't do half measures, because Earth had taught them that survival meant unity, and unity meant everyone came home. Sophia looked at Hunter, saw the same fierce pride she felt burning in his eyes. They were Deathworlders, yes, descendants of a planet that had forged them in fire and flood, in ice and illness, but they were also something more. They were the species that answered every call for aid, with an armada, and the galaxy was still learning what that meant.